What's up, everybody? This is Bill Mack here once again with Real Talk with Bill Mack. Topic to bring across today is a personal one, as well as something that I imagine, just advice that I try to give out, to others, and just little talks that I have that maybe in some way, shape, or form, that can really help, And I think my topic would be today is stay true to who you really are. And that means just remain the person whom you are deep down inside. If me, I was raised up in the church. My mom raised me, my grandma raised me, and my grandpa. I had a lot of people in my life that raised me. So I have those morals of what my grandma had raised my mom with, and I've stayed that way ever since I've been growing and gotten older. To me, I find and I know and realize that when you actually do stay true to who you are, that it doesn't give you any kind of confusion as to what you're about. When it comes to morals, you know what's right and wrong. You also know that during life and time, there's nothing that can confuse you. You're that person to your family. You're that person to your friends, to your co-workers, to people out in your community. But staying true to who you are, you're not allowing anything to affect you and to not and becoming something or someone that you just aren't. To give you an example of that, the kind of person I am over my past relationship, I allowed that person that was in my life to allow them to kind of help shift, change the person that I truly was inside, to try to make them feel much better in our relationship. I tried to. I'm a good guy. I'm trustworthy, caring. That's the kind of person that I am. And I've tried to always be that person, growing from a child up. But that person that was in my life in my last relationship, she was just had a lot of issues going on. And I, thinking that I was doing what I thought was best, was that I was trying to make a lot of changes in my life that I thought that I should have made to make the situation more comfortable, more secure. But I realized in doing so, I began stripping away the outer shell of the person that I truly was deep down inside. And it's kind of like a drill drilling to the ground, and it looks the top of the ground, it looks settled, it looks peaceful, it looks calm, looks really nice. But then once you start drilling in it, it starts to make this big ugly hole deep down inside, and that's just something that you can't allow to happen. And me being the guy that I am and trying to make my relationships work, because that's the kind of guy that I am, I want that person to know that I respect them. I made those changes in my life, and I ended up in coming out in the end. I wasn't the same person that I was when I was in the beginning. And I'm not just saying that from just my words. Granted, people at my workplace noticed it. My friend Brandon, you can ask him, he can tell you when we used to work at a workshop together. He noticed it too. My family did. Because when you aren't true to who you are and you become something else, it's like you're in a period of darkness where you don't really know which way to go or what to do or how to think, because this isn't the road that you've ever traveled before. Staying true to who you are is not allowing someone to change you. Now, there's a difference in changing someone and adjusting to being in a relationship, if that's the case. Or if it was a new job, there's just adjustments you have to make. I mean, that's just natural. And that's just life. But I mean today, just becoming something that you really aren't or you're not comfortable with. because it can do a lot of damage to your psyche inside, and it can cause you to just really have to soul search, really have to go back and pick up those pieces, because literally you're losing piece by piece by piece. And that's what it did. And like today, I've tried to not so much as change, but I have tried my best to become more aware. And in some instances, I have to come a little sharper than I was before. And I don't mean in a bad way. It's just how I handle some things. Sometimes I was always so easygoing that I just would allow myself to be a welcome mat, where I allowed people to step over me, step on me, to do whatever. And that wasn't a good thing for me personally. So now it's like, I'm a little bit more opinionated, sure. So no, not always the best, but I don't try to use it in a bad way. I'm just more so saying things, talking about things, rather so than not. So just me being more opinionated, being more open, I guess is what you could say, while being the kind of person that I still am. You see what I'm saying? You're still being who you are, but you're just making adjustments. You're just tinkering with yourself to adjust to what you're dealing with. Because if you go back to being that welcome mat again, you're not learning anything from it. You've not made the adjustments in life to better yourself. So as I say, and as I encourage each and every one of you, is that always stay true to who you are, and not allow other people to do that, because that can happen. Used to, I would think myself that I would get in a relationship that the things that I went through, I didn't think beforehand would ever happen. I'm like, that couldn't happen to me. That couldn't be who I am. That's not what's going to happen to me. I'm not going to allow these things to happen, but they can happen. When you have those, what they call rose-colored glasses on, and you don't see reality for what it is, it can affect you in a way to cause a change to you, for you to be as something and can become something that you truly weren't meant to be, or who you truly were. But, that's just what you have to do. Excuse me. Another thing would be, like, especially when with your friends. Now, I'm not talking about like Brandon or whatnot and some friends, but there's just some people in my life, and friends-wise, that you can't allow yourself to get caught up in situations, and you got to be smart and use your senses and stay true to who you are, and not give in, not allow yourself to bend, but not and not break, but just to bend. Don't allow yourself to get caught up into that. Don't be foolish on account of other people. Always use that sharp mind that God give you, that you have, that you can think and know what's right and what's wrong, what seems logical, what seems illogical, what may seem to be going in the right direction, or what can seem to go in the wrong direction. Don't be afraid to make those adjustments, and don't be afraid to share this, and don't be afraid to think. Don't allow friends, and sometimes it is with your friends, that you allow them to want to play back and forth with you. They want to be talkative to you one minute, and then they don't want to be talkative to you the next minute. They'll start a conversation, and hey, how are you doing? But then they stop talking to you after that. Not a I'll talk to you later, not at least what I like to call common courtesy, but just something to allow yourself to know, okay, this person is going to talk, because I've had experience, and it gets really tiring. I get really fed up with that happening, and allowing people to go into my life and allowing them in, trying to make a good friendship, to have a good friendship with people, and just having them to have that audacity, because it seems like it never changes with the person. You give them the benefit, and you've given them time after time. You listen to their excuses time after time, And it just seems like it's the same thing over and over again. You say hey to them first because you have to do it, mind you, because they don't do it first. And if they do it first, folks, then you're having it caught on the edge waiting and wanting it back after you answer them for them to say something back. But don't allow it to upset you. Just mind yourself of who you are. Realize that that person is doing what they're doing. And just handle it accordingly. Don't get upset. Just write it off as that person and knowing what you're doing. That's what I would do. That's what I would want to do. Is to be able to say, okay, I know this person. I know that person. I know that this person may be doing this and that may be doing that. And just write it off in that. But sometimes I allow my emotions because I care to affect it. And that's where I have to learn not to do that. Not to allow your emotions to get involved with logical ways and means. Your mind has to do the thinking. You have to realize that's where that mind comes in at. Not your heart. Your heart has its own place and has its own time. But sometimes when you make decisions about things like that, you got to stay true to who you are. And not fall into that, because when you fall into that kind of situation and allow yourself to get to sink in quicksand and you look around, there's nobody there to help you. You're in it yourself. When it all comes down to it, decisions you make, being true to yourself, because you're looking out for you. You're allowing yourself to keep your guard up and be mindful of these things and not allowing these people to do these types of things. So just make sure that you stay true to who you are. Granted, you've got to be happy. You've got to be happy with yourself first, then before you can even be happy with somebody else. And it just relies on you just being who you truly are. And don't forget where you come from. Don't allow yourself to be torn out of who you really are as a person. But embrace who you are. Love who you are. And then everything will be fine after that. You just have to embrace that. But that's just what I'm saying here today. And hopefully, that someone can understand that it just takes that bit of time to just don't forget where you come from. A lot of people go up and they win a lot of money, or they gain position, or they do well off in life, and maybe the person didn't do as well as they did, but then you see them and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they may not speak to you on the street, may not wave to you, think they don't have time for you. That's the way people do. They get off and they get away from who they truly are, and they allow these factors on the outside to affect that personality. And that's what I'm saying. And if you win the lottery, great. If you get a promotion in your job, wonderful. If some good event happens in your life or God bless you with, that is awesome. But don't allow anything to change who you are. Stay who you are. Always remember where you come from and not allow anything to change that. Just count whatever goodness you have as a blessing that God has given you. And once you do that, then and keep your feet grounded. Don't allow your head to swell up. Don't allow your ego to swell up. Don't allow money to cause you greed, to cause you to have this change in personality, because loving money can do that. Not money, mind you. There's a difference in that. Some people get that very, very confused. They say money is the root of all evil. They try to quote the Bible. And I say, no, that's not accurate. The Bible never says money is the root of all evil. It said that the love of it, the desire of it, the lust of it, the greediness of it, that there, my friends, is the root of all evil, because that's where things spawn from, because people no longer remember where they come from, because they've allowed these other factors in their life not come along with those things that happen to affect them. It's about affecting your environment. Don't allow your environment to affect who you are inside. Stay grounded, stay rooted in who you are. And then nothing after that will really change. But as long as you stay true to who you are and not allow anyone or anything in this life affect you or cause change in you, then things are going to go wonderful for you. So I just hope I've helped someone. I hope everyone understands. And until next time, this is Bill Mack signing out.